So Bravely Default is back in HD on Switch 2, and honestly it's one of the best old school JRPG comfort meals you can play right now. But the remaster also does something that drives me up a wall as a disabled player. It locks a quality of life accessibility option behind minigames that require Joy-Con mouse control. And if you already know what Bravely Default is, you know that one setting changes the entire pacing of the game. So today we're dissecting Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster as a disabled Nintendo gamer. What it gets right, where it plays it safe, and where the remaster accidentally makes the experience less accessible than the 3DS version. This is CtrlAble. Games as experience. Who gets to play, how they feel, and who gets left behind. Before we start, I'm keeping this light on story spoiler. This is mostly about systems, pacing, UI, and friction in access. Bravely Default is basically Square Enix saying, okay, what if classic Final Fantasy job system, but with an actually brilliant risk/reward turn economy. That's the core. Brave lets you borrow future turns for a big burst now. Default lets you defend and bank power for later. The game is constantly asking, do you cash out now or play it safe and build momentum? And for a lot of players, especially disabled players, your ability to control pacing is what determines whether this game is cozy or exhausting. One thing that jumped out in multiple reviews is how Bravely Default was an early example of what modern marketing would now call accessibility, such as adjustable encounter rate, speed up options, auto battle and automation, UI and info tools that reduce cognitive load. And I just want to be clear, not all convenience is accessibility, but pace control and fatigue reduction often are accessibility. Because if your hands fatigue, if your attention fluctuates, if you deal with pain, if you have limited time energy, then grind-friendly design isn't a vibe, it's a barrier. So I'm judging this remaster on one main question. Does it respect the player's time and body, or does it modernize in ways that add friction? Let's start with the good. This battle system is still fantastic. The Bravely Default economy creates a will strategy without being overly complicated. And the job system is the will addiction, mixing job commands, passives, and builds until your party becomes a science experiment. This is the kind of JRPG where boss fights are basically puzzles. You don't just level up and win, you rethink your loadout. And that's the magic. It rewards planning, experimentation, and okay, what if I become a dodge tank BP battery energy? This kind of turn-based strategy can be super accessible when the game lets you control pacing, because you can stop, think, and choose without Twitch pressure. The remaster runs at 60 FPS, and that smoothness genuinely helps menus feel snappier, movement feel cleaner, and battles feel less muddy. Visually, a bunch of reviewers call out the backgrounds as they will glow up. Those pre-rendered watercolor style environments look gorgeous on a bigger screen, but it's not flawless. Some remaster touches clash with the original art style. Character lighting can look shiny and toy-like in darker areas. Some textures look upscaled in ways that feel inconsistent. And there are even little model seam issues that are more noticeable in HD, which are the stuff that you'd never see on the 3DS. So yeah, this isn't a full remake. It's a cleaned up version of a 3DS game, and sometimes it shows. This is a big technical challenge. Bravely Default wasn't built around two screens. In HD Remaster, it compresses everything into a single 16:9 layout. Party status sits along the bottom, command menu on the right. The active character shifts position so you can tell whose turn it is. You can swap info panels with the D-pad, and it's functional and mostly clean. But there's one trade-off that matters for access. You're not always seeing enemy info all the time, the way you used to. They do add quality life improvements, like easier access to enemy HP after you examine a type, which helps reduce memory load and repeated actions. Overall, the UI conversion is fine. Not perfect, but not a deal breaker. Okay, here's the part that frustrates me. In the original release, one of Bravely Default's most praised features was the ability to adjust encounter rates, including 0%. That matters because random encounters plus grinding can be a repetitive strain, fatigue triggers, and cognitive overload, and time sinks that push people out of the experience. In this remaster, 0% encounter rate is locked behind minigames, and you can't even access them until Chapter 2. So the remaster takes a player-friendly pace and control tool and turns it into a reward. That's not just annoying, that's an accessibility regression. Because now the game is effectively saying, you want the option that reduces fatigue and grind, go complete mouse control minigames first. And that's where we hit the next problem. There are two new minigames designed around Switch 2's Joy-Con mouse mode. Nux Chair Rhythm Catch, with two cursors like glow sticks, timing inputs, and motion patterns. 2. Wingabelle's Panic Cruise. You steer an airship with wings while multitasking. Wheel, altitude levers, switches, repairs, swatting stuff. Basically an anxiety simulator flight test. Some people will love these as a novelty. But from an accessibility standpoint, mouse mode minigames can be a barrier for players with tremors, fine motor limitations, pain with repetitive motion, coordination challenges, and fatigue issues. Even if you can play them, a lot of reviews point out that you have to replay them repeatedly because single ones don't give enough currency for the good stuff. So now the remaster creates a loop like grind minigames to earn tokens, to buy pacing control, to reduce grind. That's backward. If you're here for the JRPG, you shouldn't have to clear a dexterity gate to get a quality of life option. A lot of reviewers land on the same big theme. This remaster is a safe release of a great game. It adds some nice modern touches, like fast forward scenes, a heal all function, dungeon recommended levels, smoother performance, but it doesn't fix the game's biggest structural pain point with the grind and late game repetition. And here's where perspective matters. Returning players often feel, I love this game, but this remaster is rarely conservative. New players sometimes feel that this is fun, but its familiar meta twists don't hit as hard in 2025 because everything is meta now. So the remaster becomes a question of tolerance. Do you enjoy job system grinding as the point, or do you feel it as friction? As a disabled player, I'm less interested in is grinding good or bad, and more interested in does the game let me choose my relationship with? And the answer is yes, but with a really frustrating asterisk now. So here's my controllable take. If you've never played Bravely Default, this is an easy recommendation. If you like job system JRPGs and the combat and build craft are still top tier. The music is widely praised. The world looks lovely in HD. If you're a returning 3DS player, you're buying this for smoother performance, sharper visuals, convenient features, and a modern platform. But you might also notice some HD texture rareness, some charm loss from the original presentation, and that annoying features behind minigames decision. If you're a disabled player, you can absolutely enjoy this game. But the remaster has a few why would you do that moments. Gating encounter control behind minigames, relying on mouse mode dexterity for currency, and building a loop where fatigue reduction requires extra labor. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster is still a diamond in the rough. A classic job system JRPG with a genuinely smart combat economy. But the remaster is also a reminder that modern conveniences aren't automatically accessible, especially when core pacing tools get turned into rewards. If Square ever gives Bravely Second the same treatment, I'm begging them. Don't lock accessibility knobs behind minigames. Let the player decide how they want to engage from the very first minute. If you want more dissections like this of Nintendo games through an accessibility and experience lens, subscribe to CtrlAble and drop a comment. Would you rather the remaster prioritize faithful or prioritize infinite? Because those are not always the same thing. Thanks for watching. Be brave, but also default when you need